Hey everybody, Andy here, aka Montolio, back for a vintage league. We're going to be playing some Golos shops, and yeah, we're on the rods today. And only thing that I guess would be looked upon as an old new innovation would be the Phyrexian Revokers. These have been out of style really for the last couple years, and uh, I just think they're really good with raker shops running around. If your null rod gets countered, being able to put it on a one ring or a piece of moxen to just slow things down is really strong. And yes, against bowmasters itself, it's not great, but that's not why we're running them. It's all the combo decks that are running around. And yeah, opting for three stone coils today. Probably could play four, but really it depends how much frog you're expecting to see. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. Nothing overly exciting here. Sideboard. Got the two worm coils, three traps, four ley lines, two dismembers. The only thing that's somewhat interesting is Shadow Spear. Why Shadow Spear? Obviously, a little bit of a novel with Null Rod. Of course, I'm not running it at the same time. This is to be able to race white initiative. If you ever get down a seasoned engineer, it's almost impossible to beat it, and this is one of the ways that we can beat it. Same thing against frog decks, very strong on the backswing. You're not getting attritioned out in the same way, and I just think it's a really powerful card, and we're going to try it out today. Haven't done so? Like, comment, subscribe. See you round one, guys. Here we are in round one. Did not win the die roll, which is unfortunate. With workshops, you always want to be on the play. I think my opponent is a Raker Shops player, which makes this quite a bit worse. So we need to very much look for a null rod in our opener, in the least an extremely strong hand with a Revoker. But I think it is reasonable to try to move towards a null rod in this matchup, which is no guarantee to win because they can still cast a Raker potentially and get rid of you that way. But let's see what we can do. That is not going to do it. I just don't think it's good enough. So null rod can go. Once again, like if this was on the play, we might even win with this hand, but okay, three ball would be bad for me. Okay, it's not a ring. The Raker? So it is indeed a three ball. I'm not going to lead out with the Saga here because next turn my number one priority is getting the null rod in play. Hopefully it's just a ring. Yeah, didn't want to really see the crawler here, but unfortunately for me, the Ancient Tomb is starting to clock me here. I'm going to be in a pretty difficult position to race here, but they did not play a land last turn, and my null rod is looking quite strong. Hopefully backed up by my Urza Saga. We would love a Mishra's Workshop off the top for us. Okay. They're still buried under their Trinisphere here, so we're getting some reprieve this turn. I really need a land off the top here, guys. Workshop changes everything. That doesn't quite do it. Wish I could play it, but can't. 3-ball looking good here, but the 3-ball is hurting my opponent of note. That's a good one as well. Maybe I get in front of this Crawler with the Saga token. I don't hate that, you know. Okay, they are going to be able to cast a spell here. It's a Raker, I don't like it as much. Okay. What's interesting, if they don't attack me. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to take the damage because I need to try and win here. I can't sit back and not do anything. It is going to kill me here, unfortunately. Mulligan to 4. I mean, we put up a good fight. Might want a couple dismembers here. The Jukabog not really looking good. Let's do this, guys. We have a lot of really powerful starts against this type of a deck. On the draw, I will consider Mindbreak Traps and probably all 3 of them. Mulliganing is the skill, guys. You really have to know how to mulligan against the type of deck you're playing against in Vintage. And speaking of which, it is a little bit loosey-goosey, but hopefully we can slow them down enough until I can get my Null Rod in hand. Crucible Lock is a real thing if they're playing a little more of a fair game. Okay, so they're on Moxen. Oh. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that is about as much weakness as I've ever seen out of a. I'm going to name Grim Monolith. Now, I might have to take a turn off here for the Crucible, but I think that's okay. What I'll do is probably cast Golos instead, and then the following turn cast Crucible into the Wasteland. If I draw Wasteland, it's probably going to be pretty good. Okay, 3-ball is good too. Let's get in for a couple damage. Get my Golos going. This is the most mana efficient play. I've already got the Wasteland, so I don't think Strip Mine does much. I am going to deploy the Crucible here very shortly. I think I'm just going to go and get a Urza Saga. The problem with that line is I still can't actually get the Crucible lock going. I'm more focused on doing Saga things, but maybe that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. I can just keep bringing it back with the Crucible. So this is fine. So the idea behind the spheres and the Trinisphere coming back in is that if I land a Null Rod, the spheres and Trinisphere have a really strong impact on the game. So this is a pretty reasonable turn one here if my opponent doesn't go absolutely buck nutty on me. So I am going to keep this because it's going to allow me to strip mine and have a really solid turn one play with a Revoker to back me up. It's a little bit loose, but right into a. Now, what would be a problem for me is if they dropped a Masticore on me turn one. Yeah, Karn is savage. Okay, well, that did not pan out quite the way I wanted it to. I hate that I have to do this, but this is my best chance of killing Karn. I'm not going to play my Lotus out this turn because I want to be able to have it come in, play, and be impactful, not just have my opponent go and get something with or kill it with Karn. Okay, they have another play here. Or dismember. Yep. Ooh, key. I'm just gonna have to take a gamble that they don't have find a mana here to use the key. I just have to try and get bigger than the Stone Coil to attack that Karn down. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I should be able to be bigger than both of these things this turn if they don't do anything. Oh, if they attack me, that's so good. That, however, is not so good. I would like to just put it on their Sapphire, but I think it's really greedy to do that. What's nice about this, if I do get rid of the Karn, is I can hardcast Ley Line of the Void, or excuse me, Mindbreak Trap. I mean, they have to block here. They can't let Karn die. All right. Timely mana. Hopefully it's not another dismember. That would be really awful for me. Are they untapping their monolith? Ooh. It's not a spyglass. It's a revoker. I mean, I guess they can stand up their monolith. It is dead. It is smart in that way if they don't have another play, but I mean, kind of treading water. I think my opponent's trying to figure out why their monolith won't work. Okay. Another good draw. I think I'm just going to put it on the Sapphire. There are worlds where they can find Time Vault, but I just think that this is going to be over before they're able to do that. And taking their only mana away is not a bad play. Like next turn, I'm going to equip the Nettle Cyst and just kill them. Good showcasing for Revoker there. Okay. Jeez, I keep losing the die roll. I'm not keen about that. I think this hand is fine. Okay, well, why don't we do this? They don't like this hitting their Mox Jet, I guess, huh? it time walk? Oh, let's see if I can. Actually, you know what? The Nettlecyst might be better here. Maybe this will get them to mana drain. Gifts, okay. Ooh, dig, okay. So they're probably going to find a force here, would be my guess, but no guarantees. They've already used one. I mean, Null Rod is pretty much a death knell here, I would think. And I will be attacking for lethal next turn for sure. Now, it's possible they found a mana drain. Okay, this is lethal. I guess they could chain me. Okay, that works. Okay. So we are playing against Breach. I think I do want Leyline. Like, Leyline is traditionally pretty bad against Breach because it just gets bounced. But if I can buy enough time, I think it's fine. I like Bajuka Bog. Chalice is good. Vexing Bauble is good. Maybe I cut a Golos. Let's try this. The key to beating the Breach decks is you need to get something on the board under their counter magic. And if you do, it often can really hurt them. Curtis Talent, yep. I think I'm going to Wasteland here, guys. Play my Mox out. For Patchwork in particular, that line is not great, but we'll sneak it in. Because of the presence of Saga, do I want to play Ancient Tomb here now? I'm almost assuredly Wastelanding next turn. Okay. Not thrilled about that, but them's the breaks. We will be able to hit that next turn. And that's what we want to avoid is stuff like stock up. The fact they binned that makes me think they're running out of land. Hexing Squelcher does not matter here. I am going to take advantage of their mana situation despite I'm not playing anything right now while I'm able to do it. Anything I can cast would be helpful. Phyrexian Revoker is a nice one. Okay, that's pretty good. Ah, funny, I'm close, eh? Do I just Bajuka Bog them, guys? Not that far away from Adventure's Fair here either, right? Yeah, I think Bog, because Bog lets me cast the don't really want to trade with a Hexing Squelcher. Yep. Did find a mana. Okay. There it is, guys. Really powerful, this resolves. All right. Okay, what a die roll. Don't think I can keep that. We're going to mulligan. We can do better. Much better. I'm going to put Caracas away here. I'm going to play with the strip mine. I want to ensure to be able to kill a land, and if they play a basic, I want to be able to kill it, because if I draw something like a workshop next turn, I really want to be able to play it. Okay, we're playing against Bazaar. That does not bode well for me. They're going to get my Golos here. Naturally, okay. That's actually a really good draw. It is in, okay. The Vexing Bauble was good in the sense that it shuts off Noxious Revival. Now, if they have a second Bazaar, we're just dead, but we were probably dead anyways, but maybe not. Like, we do have outs. They do have the Bazaar, so that's likely going to kill us. But we do have a main deck Bajuka Bog, so all right. What do I want to take out here, guys? Maybe I'll take a Stone Coil. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I can just do better than that. It's not very good. Wow, we're really getting cooked here. Guess I got to keep this. I'm not happy about it, but got to put away 2 here. Maybe we do this, guys. Now, we may get no value out of the Saga because I'm very likely to have to Wasteland, but I just think that's okay. We just need to get Graveyard Hate. We need to find it quick. And like, if they grief me here, it's no big deal. I prefer not, but wonder if I should play in the Force of Vigor here. I mean, it's not like I'm getting Vexing Bauble anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay. They do have it. Okay. They have a hollow one. So if I can find myself a creature here or a wasteland, that could be really good for me. But I will be on a limited clock here. Well, they did find Force of Vigor. Well, that was a good draw. They don't have Force of Vigor. Yeah, they got a shell and a couple Narcomoebas, but they're not going to come in. There we go. Okay. It's going to be putting me in a good position here if I can avoid getting vigored. Shadow Spear looking good here. Don't like that. It's two of the chills gone. Need a bit of help here, maybe. Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah, I was going to say, I can just, like, if I'm brazen enough, I can just attach this to the next one there and was going to deal a ton of damage. Okay, well, it was a risky keep. It seemed to get there for us. Spheres are not quite as good on the draw. Maybe just take one out. I think this is probably fine. See how this goes. So this hand, they've kept the hand with 7. I don't have a wasteland. I have a cage. And I've got mana. That's going to lead me to a worm coil. The problem is I don't have any way to mess with their stuff. I think I have to mulligan. There's just too many things that go wrong with that hand. This is a much, much better hand here. I'm a mile away from worm coil, so we'll put that one away, and we'll keep the ley line. Just being able to avoid grief, taking away your hate, is just such a powerful thing. I mean, it's a bit awkward. I'm not going to play into the vigor here. I figure if they had it, they would have done it there to try and get their Noxious it back, but we really need to find a land here. We did not. Like a workshop and we just explode, right? But I'm not sure how many of these hits I'm going to be able to take before I deploy the Serpent here. Okay, that is not optimal, but it does work. It's a little bit slower than I'd like it to be. Are they going to vigor now? Or they could force, I suppose. And it's totally possible they have a force of will here. Hopefully not. Okay, so we knew the vigor was there, but they had to go down card count there. And we're going to have to, we need to find a land here. Oh, gosh. Give it one more turn. I'll just chump block with this guy here, or I'll attempt to anyways. I'm not happy about this, but wow. All right. Well, I mean, they're taking themselves that much farther away from being able to manually discard. And that is a way we can get into this game. I just need to find a mana. Jesus. Gonna have to chump block now. I mean, it's turn 6, and I've got one land. So it's a little bit bad luck. Yeah, they got us. Highly improbable. Okay. Did not win the die roll, but this hand is good. Will be a lot better on the play. Very nice gentleman I met at Eternal Weekend North America. I believe his name is Christian. Definitely keeping this one. No Luris. So hopefully we don't get punished too hard here. Okay, Chalice would have been real nice there. I'm leading with this. If they want to counter this, so be it. Wonder if I should put Chalice on 1 here. It's pretty good. I suppose I should have led with sphere first, but that's okay. My sequencing maybe was not completely optimal there. All right, well, I mean, that looks pretty good. That takes off most removal at 1 from my nettle cyst. See if they're going to get a filter land here. They are. Let's see what they got for me here. Okay. Oh, I'm punished again. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't play both this turn, but that's okay. It's a pretty big fella. Well, they're not struggling on mana. Oops. Yeah, kind of. Well, Spell Pierce doesn't do anything, but say, not too often I play into my own Chalice, but it's not too often I set it at 1 anymore. Well, that was just not a good sequence for me. Sadly, I'm not happy to give them this much mana. Oh, they do have a companion. Oh no, that's the mana drain. Well, I hope I don't get punished for that. Hopefully my Chalice at 1 is impacting this board state. We're just building up for a treasure cruise here, or a dig. That's what this feels like. Quantum Riddler. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm not crazy about doing this, but I'm going to pump up my Nettle Cyst here and try and close out the game. It just puts my opponent in an awkward spot where I'm hoping that they have to chump block next turn. That's really bad for me. Yep. 3 cards in hand. Let's see if I can resolve this thing. It's a big game if I do. It is in. It's a big old boy. And I can protect it with the Caracas here, which is a nice feature as well. And I can still recast and have Saga. So I've got some pretty strong threats coming in here. Okay. What I would not want to see here would be something like a Time Walk, Dig Through Time. I guess they just cast that into my Chalice. I thought they were building up for a dig, but Digger Cruise, but that was not the case by the looks of it. Okay. Spoke too early there. Yeah, geez, 4 cards. That's crazy. I really like the Quantum Riddler. I'm looking forward to being able to play with it. I just won't buy it as long as it's a premium card and standard. It's not something I would get a ton of play out of. Just something I think more that I'd be interested in fooling around with a little bit. And I'm not one to rent. I've just long come to terms with the fact that there's very few cards that I feel like I need to jump on in the first little while that they're printed, as they eventually all just come tumbling down. So if they don't attack, they definitely are chump blocking here, and it looks like that's the case. I think that impacts me far more than my opponent, so I'm not thrilled to play that. All right, let's get in there. Attack the biggest bird here. The removal is all likely Swords to Plowshares would be my guess. Maybe not. They're fetching here. Just can't really think of what type of removal they'd have that isn't a 1-drop like a Swords. It would seem highly improbable that in a straight up blue-white deck that it wouldn't be Swords. Or even something like Chain. But yeah, Sync to Stupor does work. So the good news for me is they are tapped out here. And I still have... What do I want to get? That's the question. All right, here you go. I mean, my opponent's got a mitt full here, but I would think the Saga is going to run away with this. It's going to be two very large strats coming my opponent's way. Chalice at 1, pulling its weight here. Okay, so it does seem like Null Rod is likely reasonable here. Yep. I'm not sure, honestly, how good Null Rod is against my opponent, to be fair, but it was far worse against us that game than it was my opponent. But them casting the Sol Ring showed me that they are playing fast mana, likely stock up type builds. And for what it's worth, I do believe the Chalice on 1 was quite backbreaking that game. I'm almost sure they were on Swords to Plowshares. One of the reasons we will not be bringing in Worm Coils. And this hand is a bit clunky, but if we draw something good off the top, like a Workshop or something, it's obviously very strong. Ancestral. Yep. I'm going to play it this way, guys. I'm going to conceal the fact I do not have land. This is obviously not optimal, but I'm going to do it this way regardless. This will get countered. With all likelihood, it did not. Okay. Had I played my land out into Sol Ring, trying to get value off of something like a Patchwork Automaton with the Mox, that just shows a lot of weakness. And by concealing the fact we didn't have a Workshop into something, my opponent may have been more reluctant to force the Sol Ring or the Sphere by that matter. Now, they've got 9 cards in hand right now, and it's very possible they have a handful of Moxen. Hopefully that is not the case, but once again, this is a hand that Null Rod is just completely dead in as we currently stand because I desperately need my mana and would love to see some more mana off the top. Academy or Workshop would be my 2 best lands. Also settle for an Urza Saga or an Ancient Tomb. Hell, I'd even settle for a Wasteland. Okay. They had to discard. Interesting. I don't think this will resolve, but I just feel compelled to try and deploy this plan as much as possible. If my opponent is only playing land, go. I have a deck full of lands, so if and when I find them, they will be very good. What's unfortunate for me is I'm losing a lot of value on my patchworks. Oh, they've had enough. They don't want 3 spheres. Okay. That's not good for me. Probably losing this. I've missed a window 2 turns in a row finding another land. I mean, that was pretty devastating. They're going to go into an ancestral now. My lord. Like, I don't want to concede, right? Because they're going to have a lot of trouble underneath 2 spheres, but they are going to outvalue me here very easily. Now I'm casting into like stuff like mana drain with ease, and it's not ideal. Okay, I don't think it's worth playing this out. There's the workshop. The fact that they're playing friggin' null rods is like weird to me. Like, we're playing null rods. Why are they playing null rods? I don't know. I'm gonna keep my null rods. I mean, do I bring in Worm Coil? Seems really bad. Excellent. Excellent. I don't know that my sphere will resolve, but let's see. That's what I got. Here you go. Wow. Okay. Very likely giving up some level of value to do this, but I think that's okay. If they force this, I can live with that. So now I'm able to perhaps set up strip mine with the Golos. We'll see. If they tap down here, I mean, I'm going to wasteland them. There's just no doubt about that. That said, I don't know. Golos in the strip mine is pretty savage. Unless I draw Mox, that makes it easy. Ooh, Vexing Bauble. Vexing Bauble doesn't really help with the sphere, unfortunately. Sure. It's a gamble not wastelanding them here, but I feel like having double wasteland next turn is just so strong. Really, I have triple. But I'd like to bring the Saga back if I can. Sure. Ooh, that's brutal. I just have so many draws that rack my opponent here. And I'm just not going to worry about the Saga. Well, I can't make tokens anyways, I forgot. Playing it out now, guys, the reason being is I want the pump up on my patchwork. If they have force here, they can go ahead and force my Vexing Bauble. And of course, if they're patient, they can get my patchwork. Sure. And they were not patient. And that's going to do it right there. And of course, I get every single one of their lands. So, pretty nice. Okay, nice win there. We're dealing exactly 10 damage there and had a wasteland on their Mystic and strip mine on their island. So, lost the die roll. Very likely mirror here. My opponent likes to play sphere shops, and this hand is not really keepable in a mirror. I have to just do better. Okay. I think it has to be Null Rod that goes. I hope I don't get punished for that mistake, but my mana base requires me to be able to keep this fast mana. No mocks, please? Okay. Phew. Okay. We'll see if we can pin them here. Pin them underneath their own sphere. Because we've got pretty nice looking mana here. As long as we don't get null rotted. Oh dear. Get that going. It's obviously not very big with the sphere, but if they're struggling here with mana, then the 2 damage will add up. Oh, okay. That's not very good, is it? Oh my gosh, come on, bro. I mean, I guess that's the best draw on my deck, isn't it? We'll get the Saga. Now we've got a game plan here. Now, they've still got 5 cards in their hand, but hopefully my Ursa Saga will bury them here. Nope. Okay. Come on, man. Obviously not keen to take the damage here, but I feel like the spheres are worth doing. We would love to draw a Crucible of Worlds, a Nettle Cyst, another Snake. If they don't play another land, a Wasteland would be strong. Strip Mine, Ghost Quarter. Yeah, a little sad to see their Nettle Cyst get pumped up here, but at least they're not going to get it up to a 4/4 yet. I'm getting in with everything here, guys. I acknowledge that they can attack back for a significant amount of damage, but we will have a Saga token going from there. Maybe that was a little overzealous on my part. Yeah, maybe it was. Because the mana crypt can hurt me here. Yep. Big mistake on my part. Well, we're going to have to get a bit lucky, aren't we? We have lost 3 flips in a row. But that was a bad attack on my part. It was unnecessary. Gonna take the rods out here. Don't think I want Chalice. Vexing Bobble's pretty bad. I might bring in Leyline, you know. Let's see what it comes at the cost of. Could we do something like this? Sure, let's try this out, guys. Leyline is a little bit of a weird bit of tech, but what its function is to be able to take out Crucible loops from your opponent. And Crucible is very strong in the mirror. Yeah, that was a really bad attack last game. It was completely unnecessary. All right. This one's a bit clunky. Guess I'll put away an Ancient Tomb. It takes the pressure, the ley line takes the pressure away of me having to find a Crucible to match theirs. Okay. Hopefully they don't sphere me here. That would be pretty awkward with the Chalice in play. I mean, this is awkward. Let's see if they strip me here. I don't know that they will or not, but I am really not keen on the Scrawler here. It's causing me problems. Probably going to lose to it unless I can find a worm coil or something. And my ancient tomb is not helping. I have the Revokers in place of the Scrawling Crawler. One of the things I don't like about Scrawling Crawler is when you're playing a sphere deck, like a lockdown deck with spheres and null rods, you don't want to give your opponent the ability to draw out of it. And Scrawling Crawler does a very good impression of that. Despite I do acknowledge Crawler is quite a good card. Okay, that is very likely to beat me. Yep. Yeah, a little unfortunate. On the play, I like doing my business a little bit more than having the ley lines. Guess I could bring Vexing Bauble in. Let's try this out. Let's see what we can do here, guys. It's pretty risky. Lotus and the Nettle Cyst and the Mox Thorn. All right. We've got the Dismember. Yeah, Null Rod probably kills us, but this should do a pretty good job of beating down, and probably not going to have great follow-ups, but let's see. What's sad is I'm so close to a worm coil here, but now we'll be 100 miles away. Here you go. Ooh, they did put a trap in there. All right. It's pretty brutal for me, to be honest. It's pretty bad luck. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play it, just the 3 ball. I'm not thrilled about it, but I need to get my guy big here. Presuming they're building up to a Golos, but land, it does work. Gonna make them wasteland me. Worm coil can get them out of this somewhat. Well, I do have dismember, but well, I would say that this has been a cheeky little shops league. I feel like the deck did really well. I didn't play it optimally in some spots, but oh, look at this. It's not going to do it. And when we did lose our match to Dredge, I feel like we were on the really low side of variance there. Just couldn't find any land. All right, there we go, guys. A pretty clean 4-1 and pretty close to a 5-0. No Rod Shops is still pretty good. I was going to load this up in the Vintage Challenge last Friday, but as I was sitting there waiting for the challenge to fire, I realized I had loaded up the challenge, but I hadn't loaded up my deck list, and therefore did not get to play it. So we're doing a little league instead. And so Phyrexian Revokers, I feel like shined pretty well throughout that league. They were good in several spots. And are they better than Pat or the Scrawler? Not so sure. But one of the things I like about them is that when you're playing against decks where maybe Null Rod is not in hand and is in a good place, Phyrexian Revoker is just a really good stopgap. And there are games where you have Mox, Soul Ring, Mox, and you don't want to drop a Null Rod. And Phyrexian Revoker can be just enough to take that edge off where you can shut down that key one ring without destroying your hand. So I really think that it's quite good right now. And its only real deficiency is that Bowmaster kills it. But it's not here for Bowmaster, and you can very easily side these out in that matchup. Like if it's blue-black, I don't know how the sideboard mapping works, but we could bring in a Shadow Spear, a couple Dismembers, a couple Worm Coils. We could remove the Null Rods and half of the Revokers, right? So what does that end up being? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we take out 1 Revoker and 4 Rods in that situation. The rest of the deck is just fine. Okay, guys, take a minute, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time.